Hey, and it's Paul Tyler, and welcome to another episode of the Reimagine podcast. And I know we're definitely streaming, Laura, to our Imagine page. I've been looking for the live stream on LinkedIn, but we're just going to assume it goes.
We
And,
actually live, so we are good there as well.
oh, we're good. Okay, excellent. All right, so who knows what'll happen? I've told neighbors don't show up on my porch and start uploading, videos and music and stuff. But if we do get caught off and broke up, stay tuned to LinkedIn, or we'll repost something later. So, Laura, we got some great guests. Why don't you tell us what are we going to talk about today, and give us an introduction here.
Yeah, absolutely. We have Tom and Paul Sheridan, Principles at Eclaro, and we're going to be talking about global talent in this trying situation, how Eclaro is helping to solve some of the needs of startups and what they're doing in the community as well.
Excellent. All right. Well, first of all, and I do this on LinkedIn. Listen, if you tune in, say hi so we know who's out there. Love to pull you into the conversation.
Yes,
So,
Mets is
yeah, Paul and Tom, welcome. So, first off, and we'll kind of explain. I'll tee this up for people. I think behind every successful startup or company, a lot of people behind the scenes, right, who help that happen. And maybe angel investors, maybe supporters, maybe mentors. And clearly there's, a good sort of infrastructure, of support behind them. And you have provided some great help to one of our startups, and you're starting to work with some others. Before we dive into that, tell me, who is Eclaro? Give us the backstory. By the way, you guys look an awful lot alike. So we definitely want to understand that story.
Paul, you can go. Sure. So, we are twin brothers and two of the co-founders of Eclaro. We've been in the human capital space our entire careers, and we started the company a little over 20 years ago. Um, and so we've gone out and we've done a lot of IT consulting and finding the right talent for a lot of Fortune 500 companies. And as a startup ourselves, we love helping other startups. It's there's this our dad told us you can sit on an acorn or you can climb a tree, and we've kind of chosen to sit on the acorn route. And if we can help other startups and helping them grow their tree, it's very fulfilling.
It really is. I mean, I think even growing up, just to go off on a quick tangent, growing up around the kitchen table at our grandfather's house, even both sides of the parents, there was always talk about starting companies and being innovative. Our grandfather on our mother's side had started businesses here. Our father started businesses, so it's just always been something that we're excited about. So when we have friends tell us about, oh, I'm going out to start this adventure, it's great. Oh, tell me all about it. We really get very excited to hear about the startups. And I think we too, as being a mid-sized firm, we have about 1,100 people globally. We still think of ourselves as trying to be nimble and quick and being a startup, and how do we keep growing and not being happy with where we are.
Yeah, interesting. So maybe start. 1,100. Wow, that's a lot of people. So we'll pull that thread in. Pull the thread a little bit. So just talk to it. So listen, we're a company. Maybe start from the corporate side of things. So listen, we've got six or 700 people, depending on how you count them. We've got a sort of a business sprawled out around the country. We do development work. How could you help me as a carrier?
Well, great. Yeah. So we do have, so in the US, we have about 450 people. And again, predominantly IT, providing IT support across the whole technology stack, working, again, whether it be development, working in infrastructures, support, and providing that across nationally across, and a lot of insurance, a lot of technology companies, again, across the country, as well as Canada and Puerto Rico here in North America. And then about 10 years ago, going on our 11th year now, we opened an entity in the Philippines to provide global support for clients who were looking for that need. And now we have over 650 people working for us in the Philippines, providing global support, again, predominantly across IT. But what we've seen happen, and to jump ahead on a little bit, so one of the insurance firms that we had founded, and we started with just 5 people, but they quickly saw the value in what was happening, and the CEO had made a trip over. I guess we were about 100 people at that point, and he said, "Why am I not doing this in other business units? Why am I not providing this not just in IT but across other areas of the business?" So he saw the value, and that quickly expanded to support them, not just here in the U.S., but again, North America and around the world, in IT and other areas.
Yeah, started moving into claims processing, into actuarial, catastrophe modeling. So you really, again, across their whole bit, every segment of their business, we were starting to support them. So, there's a, obviously from a value proposition, they saw it as a Fortune 1000 insurance firm, and that's where we grew up spending most of our time. Most of our clients still to this day, we have about 55 clients globally, and the vast majority of them are in that Fortune 1000 space. But again, then we do have some of the the other set of clients, those startups. And one of the things we like working with the startups, again, going back to the acorn analogy, hey, we're happy to start with a couple of folks, help people out. There's especially in the we can certainly do it here in the US, but it's from a startup perspective, really watching every penny. Hey, there's you get a lot of value going global, and we have the 3 delivery centers in the Philippines where we can help deliver that value. And so with those startups, we start small, and it can grow. We had one company was not quite a startup, but just still pretty early on. Started with them, and they went from having 3 people proof of concept to about 300 people. And because we grew as they grew, and so it was really very fulfilling. Again, just going on that journey with them as they're looking at challenges, and we're helping them solve those challenges, and working together in really a true partnership and developing and just meeting those needs together. And it's exciting. Some things it just helps get up in the morning and say, hey, what's the other challenge? How can we help? And then we just go from there.
Yeah. And the other thing I think.
Oh, go ahead.
No,
I don't want to interrupt. Let me just. And I know Laura's got a question, but I just want to say hello to some of the people we've got on our, tuned in here. I know there's more here. Jeff Metz. Hey, Jeff, thanks for popping in. Cynthia, thank you. Mary Crean. I think she knows you from some other work she's done. Michael Davis, a startup.
Yeah.
Keith, investment. A VC, so he's got his eye. And Keith, this is a group to plug into here. We have a call later and this week, and these guys are a good pipeline for you. Evie at Lincoln, thanks, Evie. So with that, just we've got an very interesting group. We're already, know you got carriers, investors, startups. Laura, your question. Sorry.
Yeah, no, just kind of curious, what kind of skills, have you seen an evolution of skills even over the last few weeks in terms of what people are looking for based on our current climate, if you will?
Well, it's interesting. Some of our clients are business as usual, right? There was those first couple weeks of, getting everybody working remotely, and again, globally, right? Getting everybody remote globally. But then after that, it's been business as usual. But we have seen over the last month or so the more in the need of infrastructure, right? So with getting everybody working remote, then it becomes, how are we supporting that? What processes do we have in place? What infrastructure? What hardware? And again, that's, if you don't have it, it's difficult to get at this point. That's one of the things we're hearing too.
Yeah.
But
can you get me a webcam? I'll pay I'll do 5x whatever the list price is.
Right.
Can't get
it in July.
Yeah. So yeah, but a lot of the clients, if they need, just whether it be support people, again, from an infrastructure perspective, or service desk support for people, just because there's the volume has increased regarding everybody working remotely. So those needs have changed a little bit for us internally as well, right? So we've had to increase staff to handle the increased volume of people working remotely, because there's just, more silly issues. I mean, it's, mostly silly. I forgot my password. I logged myself out, which you don't necessarily get on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah, no, and I think, and kind of going back, sitting on an acorn, right? You've done a lot of that, and maybe just talk to us about, some of the work you've done for, startups in our program. Shri, for instance, she is a huge fan. Maybe you could describe like how you've helped her, fill gaps over time and actually kind of bootstrap her startup into something that's got a lot of legs today.
Yeah, and Shri's great, and we love Shri and what they're doing over at Infonalytics. We met Shri a couple of years ago out in Vegas at InsurTech there, and we had met her initially, had a good conversation, and then is when the time was right, we started help. Help. She needed a couple of Python developers with help with them with they doing machine learning, so very high end, cutting edge stuff. And we were able to go out and help her with those needs with a couple of our, couple of folks out of the Philippines. And what's kind of unique about our model that way, it's bespoke hiring, right? It's custom hiring for our clients. So whether they're Fortune 500 or a startup, we're going to make sure we find the right person for you for that specific need. So whether you hire that person off of our bench, or we have to go out and find that person out in the market, we're just not going to provide someone, that's available. It's going to be, a custom fit for you that just right. Again, as a startup, you don't have a lot of room for error. As a bigger company, you can kind of work through. As a startup, it's vital to make sure those hires are the right people, because like I said, every penny counts, and to move things forward, you have tight timelines. You don't have time to keep moving in and out with people, and that's one of the things we pride ourselves on, and I think our models are a little unique that way. That working with startups, and like I said, with Shri's been great. We've prided a couple of the Python developers who've really done some nice work with her, and like I said, it's cutting edge stuff. So we're very excited.
And one of the other
go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say one of the other things we were doing with Shri too. Again, not that this is necessarily started to grow fruit yet, but in talking to Shri about how additionally can we help, right? With some of the contacts that we have in the insurance industry, we're saying, hey, she has some good software, she has a great product. How do we help that? Is there ways that we can make introductions or see if there's a possibility there? So again, we're just being a partner together, right? And having that relationship and seeing where we can help.
Yeah, and I don't want to pry too much into sort of what maybe be confidential, but now you helped her fill talent gaps. You're helping her bring to market. You actually are investors at this point, correct?
Yes, we are.
Yes,
yeah.
We've invested as well.
Yeah, and we have. By the way, Jala from Travelers joined us. So Jala, this actually is right down some conversations we've been having, because we're kind of looking at saying if we're especially in this time of real stress for startups, how do we sort of identify the startups in Hartford collectively that we want to, kind of bear hug, and what type of resources do we bring to bear here? If you look through the startups, and Laura kind of headed down that path with you, if you look at the startups you're working with today, what are the questions that are coming up? What are the answers you're providing them, either from, pivoting business models, investing, what should they be? What are they doing while they're sort of locked up someplace, wherever that may be?
Well, again, there is a little bit of pivoting on business models with a couple of startups that we're working with. They, as everybody, right? Things have changed over the last couple of months, so they may have to look at their plan and adjust that. So we have been speaking to some of our clients about that and seeing again where can we help and how can we help them down the road. I mean, and I know you mentioned we have some venture capital guys on, right? It's jamming on the plan, right? These guys have to jam on the plan. As Paul was saying, there's deadlines to meet. There, they have to hit those numbers and jam on the plan. So how do we help them do that? How do we, in our past experience, sometimes it's just talking through, where we've been through and some of our experiences, say, hey, look, be ready for this, or be aware of that, because this potentially could happen. And just kind of talking through as, maybe as an advisor to them on what, just to expect. And again, it's just, we've, in the years of experience, we've been down the road, we've grown this company, we've had, our ups and downs as well, right? And you just look through it. As Paul and I, when this COVID was happening, we were talking through, okay, this is our fourth or fifth major economic event that we've, been in business through. What are the scenarios that you looked in, compared to the previous ones? Yeah, no, this is different, but there are still similarities. And what did you do before? How did you get through that before? And what do you need to do to get through this one? Right. And it's looking at potential clients, right? What client base is affected? Very quickly, we looked at our client base to see how would they be affected, right? If we were in the travel and entertainment industry heavily, well, maybe we'd be in a lot more trouble with those clients, right? And
Right.
so very quickly looking at your client base, quickly looking at those kind of things. How, and again, everybody's affected. If you're involved in oil and gas, maybe your clients aren't selling as much, or insurance, or not, right? They're giving you rebates on your car insurance now because nobody's driving, right? So that's going to affect your clients in various different ways. But where can you get in front of that and try to just, do some analysis and say, hey, where do we need to be? Let's project out, and really judging this on a, we're looking week by week now, just as the company globally, not before you're kind of looking at it quarterly. Now we're very tight looking, look at it week by week, getting adjustment, getting plans from all the salespeople saying, hey, what are the clients doing? And I think the same sense, the smaller companies, need to do the same. Right. And I think what Ben Akiva too, right? We're helping Ben Akiva out right there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
good.
we have a couple of developers there as well. Some full stack developers, some DevOps guys working over at Ben Akiva, and again, it's like you said, it's being flexible, right? I mean, that's one of the hallmarks of a startup is being able to pivot and look at that market and pivot. I mean, if you look at some of the Amazon, for example, or some of these again super successful, Facebook, whoever, right? They start initiatives and they don't all come to fruition, right? They pivot themselves all the time, right? And sometimes as a startup, that's one of the things you have to, sometimes you fall in love with an idea, and hey, but if the market will be the ultimate judge of that. If the market doesn't fall in love with it, how do you pivot, right? And at the end of the day, it's survival, right? If you live to fight another day, maybe your idea will come back. Maybe you're a little too early, right? Just, survive and live to fight the next day, and keep growing and learning, and it all kind of will, work in the end. And it's, we're sailors. So we always look at things as a journey, right? If you're going to powerboat guy, it's point A to point B. As a sailor, it's the journey to go where, it's a journey. It's not getting where you're going. It's the journey. And that's kind of how we look at business every day. It's the fun is in the journey and what you're doing every day. Where we land, where that ultimate port will be, we'll see, but it's in that journey that that gets you up every day.
That's awesome. So Mary Crean has a good question for both of you. What would you say is the secret sauce in your human capital work?
I think it's twofold, right? From finding the right people, it's having the relationship with the client to understand their needs and making sure we're truly understanding what they're looking for. Asking, as simple as it is, it's asking the right questions, but it's understanding maybe what's not being said, and helping them talk through and see what do they really need, right? So that's from that part. I think that's, you're qualifying that up front, and through, experience, you're better able to do that. And then on the flip side, it's, how do we keep the talent that we have, and making sure that they're performing, that they're happy, right? It's before this COVID, we were, there was zero IT unemployment, and it's a global market. So how do you keep the people engaged with Eclaro and with our clients? And so that, it's communication and creating a culture where people, and I think anywhere, right, want to be heard. They want to feel engaged. They want to feel part of something, and something bigger than just themselves. So how do we, and that's, that's not easy to do. And how do you do that globally and keep people involved and engaged with the company? So I think that's been a large focus of what we try to do.
And one other point to that, which I think is a little unique in our viewpoint, the client comes number one. They pay the bills, right? Ultimately, the talent comes number two, and we come number three, right? If you keep those guys happy, everything kind of works out. We see a lot of firms that we compete with sometimes kind of reverse that model, and they put themselves number one, and everyone else become behind them. We kind of invert it and say it's they're the client first. They said customer's always right. We have two customers. Right? We're in a knowledge management business, right? We're not manufacturing anything. Your talent, your product, they all walk out the door every day, right? What are you doing to keep them come back the next morning? And that's so we put ourselves last in that model.
Yeah. Hey, Kate McKay, by the way, agrees, and she goes back to the question about how do you survive through this? You got to be knowledgeable, flexible, nimble, to survive and thrive. And Kate, I totally agree with you. We're all living this.
Yeah,
yeah.
We're all living this together. Laura, what are the questions?
Sure. So, the term or the word survival keeps coming up, and there's a lot of that going on in a literal sense right now. So do you mind just telling us a little bit how you're helping out within the community at this time?
So yeah, interestingly, we just are helping in New York City. So New York City has a
we're
311
in New York City.
Yeah, we're based corporately in New York City, and 311 for people who may not. That's like 911 would be for emergencies. 311 is for other help. So because of the crisis, the 311 lines were being overwhelmed, and the wait times were extremely long, and a lot of it is around people getting food or access to maybe medical care or certain non-urgent needs. Well, I mean, food is urgent, but and so we working now with the city to help staff up call centers to make to really, the ultimate goal is to get that wait time down and to get the service to the people who are in need. So it just feels great to be able to do our part in a little way, as we see. Again, it's only a little over a week that we've been doing this, and but we see the wait times coming down, and we see the numbers for the city improving from that, and it's nice to feel part of that. The team that's going in and doing the work, they're great. They see it as being able to help. Hey, they're taking that risk and leaving their homes, but they're excited to go in and help people in the city, who have those needs. So it really is exciting to just be a small part of that.
Oh, hey, listen, thanks so much for what you're doing. And I live in Westchester County. I mean, going to the grocery store here is a stressful experience. But I was just on the phone with somebody living in Chelsea, and she was saying just how stressful it is to just walk out the door, and
Right.
people are just feeling very scared and very like everybody has something that they want to stay away from. So it's an uncomfortable place. So thanks for doing what you're doing there.
Yeah, no, it is. I was on the phone with a client yesterday who lives in Hoboken, right, in Jersey. And I keep saying, oh, it's a beautiful day. Did you go out? She goes, I haven't been out in a month. I mean, she's just, she's sheltered in place with her family, and they're not leaving. And she's not comfortable going outside. It's too congested right there. So
right.
it is, for everybody, it's different, right? And you have to be, it's scary, and be respectful for everybody and how they feel.
Right. So, okay. So I'm going to steal the last question, Laura, here. So we're close to 12:30. So I'm actually the odd person out. Okay. I am an only child. Okay. I didn't have a brother, no sisters, nothing. Okay. And so this is a little unique. Okay. First off, Laura has identical twin sister. You are twin brothers. What kind of strength? I mean, okay, there got to be some. I've always wondered what would it be like to have a sibling. I don't know. Wow, identical twin. What's the biggest strength you get from working together on this? And what's the biggest sort of conflict that you have to work through and say, okay, just don't say this.
Well, I mean, it makes life a lot easier working with someone that you're in sync with, on the same page. You share the same values, you have the same kind of outlook in life, professionally, from business. So you can almost, in a sense, you can a lot of times be in two places at once. So it does really add to the bandwidth, because you know that whatever's going on that Tom's doing, I'd be giving the same decision. I'm making those same decisions. So that's really, really helpful. And from a business perspective, we're able to go home at night and we can debrief on the way home. So when we walk in the door at home, we can be home, because we've had that conversation, and so now we can be present at home. So it's really terrific. What about you, Laura? Why didn't you get your sister on the call?
She'd be better than me.
No, Paul, we need you too.
Someone's got to control the twins.
Thank you. That's what I'm saying. I have to agree with a lot of that, because it's almost as though you can look at your twin and you already know what's going on. So it's like,
right.
Forget finishing sentences. You don't even need to speak most of the time. And when you have somebody else just like you, we joke around saying, "Oh, you stole my face." You just know that whatever they're doing, and for the most part, is exactly what you would be doing. So it's a powerful thing. And I think for me, it's a little different. We've lived apart for about 13 years now. And we talk every day, multiple times a day. My husband does not understand it. Like, this isn't for you to understand. It's a twin thing. Like, you need the connection.
Right. We would understand. We would understand that perfectly. And Paul, I got to tell you, I don't know about Laura. I'm not going to put her in the same dysfunctional that Paul and I are in. But we consider ourselves only children. So when we're together, we're alone. So we feel you.
Always says, "I'm the favorite. I'm the favorite." It's just like, all right, Kat, you're the favorite. Get over it.
All right. Hey, well, listen, we're at the top of the hour, half hour. Listen, Paul, Tom, listen, thanks so much. And look, we're going to talk more and figure out, how we, pull you in more with what's going on in our incubator, and just look forward to working with you over the next the rest of the year here.
Us too. It was great. Yeah. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Paul. Thanks, Laura. Love to help. Love what you're doing up there in Hartford. I think it's so exciting. Jeff and I visited you back in November. That was the fall. It was really very, very exciting, and looking forward to helping out in any way we can, and seeing how you guys grow and develop. It's awesome.
Hey, Laura, who do we have next?
Next week, we have Surefy and Pineapple joining us.
Okay. Interesting. Okay. So, very interesting. Okay. So Matt is planning to move to Hartford, has everything ready to go. Literally like 2 or 3 days before he was going to come up in South Africa, said, "You can't travel." So, this is just changing. It's like every week you don't know what to expect here. And then is it Brian? Who's on for Surefy? Do we have Brian? Okay, good. Look forward to talking to Brian and catching up on that front. So, all right. Well, listen, thanks, and join us again, Paul, Tom. Thanks, and for all of you listening, join us again. Make sure you sign up for our list. Okay, Laura's got a great email list coming out. I think, Laura, it didn't break. I don't think we had a break. Yay!
Maybe stole your Wi-Fi.
Twin power.
Yeah. Oh, and one shout out, Sylvie, who's in Europe. Can't wait to get you back here as well. So anyway, we'll catch up next week, and enjoy the rest of whatever this week or weekend I guess turns out to be.
Thank you, guys.
Hey, thanks. Great talking to you guys. Good catching up, and stay safe.
Appreciate it.